Market Outlook, Calendar Week. 49 calendar, week 48 was clearly shaped by macro data and an ongoing sense of tension in the markets. Once again, weak signals came out of China. Purchasing managers' indices for manufacturing and services fell below the growth threshold in November, pointing to a cooling of the business cycle. At the same time, the euro area continued to show inflation just above the ECB's 2% target. Momentum is much weaker than in previous years, but still high enough to prevent any clear all clear on interest rates. For digital assets, week 48 was primarily a sentiment and liquidity-driven market. Bitcoin reacted sensitively to macro headlines without establishing a new trend. Dips were bought, but follow-through remained limited. Altcoins continued to show over-beta behaviour, outsized moves in both directions depending on whether Bitcoin was currently attracting buyers or sellers. We are still a long way from a broad, sustainable risk-on phase. The sentiment data tell the same story. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index spent most of the week in extreme fear territory and only moved towards fear towards the end of the period. Investors remain cautious and are waiting for clearer signals from macro data and central banks. At the same time, Bitcoin dominance remains high. Around 58.5% in the previous week shows that capital is parked predominantly in BTC, while rotations into smaller coins tend to be tactical and short-lived. Against this backdrop, Quantum Data Analytics again did not publish any new research signals in calendar week 48. Our models did detect individual technical setups, but they did not sufficiently meet our requirements in terms of liquidity, trend stability, and risk-reward profile. Instead of issuing signals at any cost, we focused on observation and on calibrating our risk filters. Looking ahead to calendar week 49, a dense block of macro data now moves into focus. At the start of the week, global manufacturing PMIs and the US ISM Manufacturing Index are released. They will indicate whether the industrial sector continues to weaken or if a bottom is beginning to form. Shortly afterwards, the flash estimate for euro area inflation in November is due. Midweek, US labour market data, the ADP employment report, and the ISM Services Index are on the agenda. Taken together, these data points will show how robust the world's largest economy currently is and how much room for manoeuvre monetary policy still has. In parallel, we are once again looking at the crypto market itself in week 49. Bitcoin dominance currently stands at around 58.6%, virtually unchanged from the previous week. This confirms that Bitcoin remains the central pace setter and that risk in many portfolios is primarily managed via BTC. The Crypto Fear and Greed Index has recovered somewhat from the recent lows and currently sits at around 28 points in the fear zone. This is still far from euphoric territory, but it suggests that the phase of maximum panic has, for now, run its course. In this environment, individual headlines can trigger rapid sentiment swings, both to the upside and the downside. Overall, for the digital asset market, this means we are in a transition phase. Neither macro data nor sentiment are delivering a clear go signal for aggressive risk-taking, while at the same time, the willingness to panic sell has diminished. Our conclusion at Quantum is therefore to act cautiously and strictly data-dependent. We are watching closely whether the macro data in week 49 support the soft landing narrative or reignite growth concerns. Only once a clearer picture emerges and our models indicate a combination of trend, stability, sufficient liquidity, and an acceptable risk-return profile will we ramp up our research signals again. Until then, our guiding principle remains. Protecting capital takes priority over chasing short-term returns. This report does not constitute investment advice and does not contain any recommendation or solicitation to buy or sell crypto assets or other financial instruments. The analyses and assessments provided by Quantum Data Analytics are for information and research purposes only. Every investment decision is made independently and at the sole risk of the respective client. Strategies may be adjusted, delayed, or suspended at any time, depending on market conditions. Quantum data analytics: analytical, strategic, innovative.